One is funded by a private company whose owner called the dominant operating system a catastrophe and spent years building an escape route that now runs 80% of the largest game store's library on a platform it was never designed for. The other was built by a single developer who wanted one launcher to manage every game on that platform, regardless of where it came from. Created a crowdsourced database of installation scripts that no equivalent has ever matched, and then got distracted by a startup, shipped an update that deleted save files, and quietly used an artificial intelligence tool to write part of the replacement code. The corporate project has the funding, the hardware product line, and the compatibility numbers. The community project has the breadth, the installation script database, and a trust problem that arrived at the worst possible moment. Both use the same underlying compatibility technology. The difference is who maintains it and what happens when something breaks. The corporate project exists because the owner of the largest digital game store feared losing control of distribution to a walled garden. The first attempt was a hardware line with native support for a fraction of the library. It failed because the library was too small. The second attempt funded a decades-old open-source project that re-implements the dominant operating system's programming interfaces, hired the developer who created the translation layer that converts one generation of the graphics standard into the cross-platform alternative, contracted the commercial firm that employs many of the base project's core contributors, and started shipping game-specific patches. The handheld gaming device launched in 2022 made the compatibility layer the foundation of a hardware product line with millions of units sold. Development accelerated. Compatibility climbed to 80% of the store's catalog. A rating system categorizes titles by how well they work. The limitations are structural. The biggest competitive multiplayer titles are blocked because their anti-cheat systems require developer opt-in that many refuse to provide. The technical solution exists. The checkbox is there. The decision not to enable it is commercial, not technical. Systems using one major graphics vendor's open-source driver achieve near-native performance. Systems using the other major vendor's proprietary driver lose up to 45% in titles using the newest graphics standard. Every update improves compatibility for dozens of games and breaks a handful of others, creating a version pinning culture where users freeze the version that works for their specific title rather than updating. A community fork maintained by a single developer is frequently recommended over the official version because it ships patches the corporate project does not include. Early versions had a documented save game synchronization problem where the fake environment used different file paths than the real operating system, and the cloud service expected the real paths. Users lost hours of progress. The problem was largely resolved, but edge cases persist with modified titles. Modding support ranges from functional after manual configuration to impossible, depending on whether the modifications require system access. The translation layer cannot provide. The community project began around 2009 when a French developer wanted to manage his own game library. The core innovation was a system of structured installation scripts hosted on a central database, each describing exactly how to install a specific game with the correct compatibility runner, the correct version, the correct dependencies, and the correct configuration. The user clicked install and the launcher handled everything. The runner system supported not just the compatibility layer, but emulators for retro consoles, interpreters for classic game engines, simulation environments for older titles, and native builds. A game from one store, a classic from another, and an emulated console title could all sit in the same library. Nothing else on the platform attempted that breadth. The golden period arrived after 2018 when the corporate project made compatibility layer gaming mainstream. The community project became the primary front end for everything the corporate project did not cover. Then the developer became involved with a funded startup building a gaming operating system for handheld devices. Releases slowed, bug reports went unanswered. Threads asking whether the project had been abandoned appeared on discussion platforms and gained traction. A version was tagged in the repository but pulled without release. The replacement that shipped in February 2026 migrated the runtime infrastructure and deleted compatibility layer environments containing saved data for a subset of users. The same update was partly written with an artificial intelligence tool whose use was disclosed and then hidden after backlash. 2 follow-up versions shipped in quick succession with documented launch failures on at least one major distribution. The community started recommending focused alternatives for the tasks the project used to own. The corporate project handles everything purchased through its own store automatically. No configuration, no script selection, no runner management. The compatibility layer activates when a game launches, and the user does not need to understand what is happening underneath. The community project handles everything the corporate project does not. Games from competing stores, standalone installers, titles with no storefront presence, emulated games, and anything that requires a specific compatibility, layer version, or configuration the corporate project does not offer. The corporate project is narrower and deeper. The community project is broader and more fragile. The sandboxed packaging format that many non-technical users choose for the community project creates a persistent category of problems. The sandbox restricts access to system-installed runners, certain communication interfaces, and file paths outside its boundary. Games fail to launch. Runners go undetected. The people choosing the easy installation method are the ones least equipped to debug the issues it creates. The corporate project has no equivalent problem because it ships as part of its own store application and controls the entire runtime environment. The community project's unique value is the installation script database. Thousands of community-maintained configurations for games that nothing else covers, representing years of accumulated knowledge about what works, what breaks, and what combination of settings resolves each case. That database has no equivalent. The corporate project does not need one because it controls the compatibility layer end-to-end and tests titles internally. The community project needs one because it supports everything and can test almost nothing at the scale the corporate project can. The broader consequence is that the corporate project's success has changed what developers build. Native versions of games for the platform have declined because the compatibility layer is considered good enough. The community project benefits from that same layer underneath, but suffers when the corporate project's dominance reduces the incentive for anyone to support alternative approaches to getting games running. Proton for anyone whose games come from the store it was built for, where 80% of the catalog works without configuration, where the handheld device it powers has made the platform viable for mainstream gaming, and where corporate funding means development continues as long as the hardware sells, accepting that the biggest competitive titles are blocked by developer refusal, that the proprietary graphics vendor's hardware performs measurably worse, that every update risks breaking titles that previously worked, and that the compatibility layer's success has reduced native development because the translation is considered good enough. Lutris for anyone who needs games from competing stores, standalone installers, emulators and titles the corporate project does not cover, where the installation script database represents irreplaceable community knowledge and the runner system supports a breadth nothing else matches, accepting that the developer's attention is divided with a funded startup, that a February 2026 update deleted save data, that the same update was partly written with an artificial intelligence tool whose disclosure was hidden after backlash, that the sandboxed packaging format creates persistent launch failures, and that the community is actively recommending focused alternatives for individual tasks, one funded by a company that needs it to exist, the other built by a person who might not have enough hours left to maintain it. Every choice is a trade-off. At least now you know what you're trading.